The company can create a cohesive brand experience that resonates in various formats altogether. Now, the reason here is that everybody wants to make the consumer aware about their product. Slowly, when Hyundai started evolving as a brand in the minds of Indian consumers, they started understanding that you need to level up if you want to survive the game. You are a part of a digital age, but at the same time, you still believe that traditional methods cannot be written off. Good morning and welcome to the second session in Unit 1, 6th semester Advertising and Media Management for BBA, where we're going to talk about Introduction to the Integrated Marketing Communication. Now, the word itself, whenever you say integrated marketing communication and advertising, this is something where we are going to combine the approach. Rather, we are going to bring in an approach that is going to combine the various marketing channels and tools to deliver a unified and consistent message. Now, you know that to advertise a product, you can use various channels, various methodology altogether. But we are not interested in that. Rather, what we want to see is that send a uniform message, a consistent message to all by using a simplified tool. So this is where this method ensures that all the marketing efforts from a digital campaigns to that of traditional media work synergistically to enhance the brand visibility and impact. So by harmonizing different marketing elements, the company can create a cohesive brand experience that resonates in various formats altogether. So whenever you are creating an ad, the most important thing about an advertisement is that it is able to send the message clearly to the consumers. Now, it might be about a toothpaste, it might be about a soap, it might be about a dishwasher, or it might be about a shoe or a mobile phone, or probably any gadget that you are talking about. The aim here is that when the consumer receives the message in various formats, it might be through an Instagram, it might be through a Facebook, it might be through TV or radio channels, the appearance, the acceptance, and the acknowledgement in terms of that particular media message that goes has to be very, very clear, has to be concise enough so that the consumer is able to understand what you are trying to tell him. Now, the next thing is that the importance in today's advertising landscape. The importance here is that as consumers are bombarded with messages across media, you see that whenever you open up your laptop or your desktop and you start working, you would see that there are 100 odd messages or thousands of pop-ups that just come across your screen. It might be from the YouTube channel, from the Facebook, from the Instagram, from the Twitter, from the LinkedIn. It might be N number of apps as we are talking about. Now, the reason here is that everybody wants to make the consumer aware about their product. Everybody wants to tell people that how it is available, where it is available, what kind of product are we selling. So it becomes a complete chaotic marketplace where you see that the consumer is confused with N number of messages coming to his inbox, to his mind, saying that what exactly he needs to do. Now, this is where the integrated marketing channel becomes very, very important. Why? Because to strengthen the brand identity and deliver what is exactly needed for the consumer. Now, if I'm going to talk about an Oral-B toothpaste, or if I'm going to talk about a Dabur Ayurvedic product, or if I'm going to talk about a hair oil, my simple ideology here is that I need to convey the customer the purpose of why I'm advertising my product. Number two, the consumer needs to understand what is in for him in that particular advertisement. So if I'm going to use a hair oil up from a particular brand, what is the benefit of using that? So when I'm advertising, I need to understand the elements of advertising that are strongly placed, that are combined in a particular level, so that when it is being delivered, the message is clear across the board. Followed by which we also talk about the evolution of integrated marketing. How did this exactly start? This started in India through a lot of marketing channels, and this ensures a seamless consumer experience, reinforcing the brand message, bringing in the consistency and relevancy factor altogether. I've always liked the brand Amul, and for a particular reason, of course. Amul has been a brand which has been very, very consistent with its message. The message is very simple: taste of India. Now, whether you call it as a tagline or whether you call it as the essence of the brand, but then the message that has gone into the minds of the consumer is very, very simple and clear. They have been able to understand that Amul stands for the most important, clarified, and the best dairy brand that is available in our country. So Amul, whenever it comes up with any kind of product, might be milk products or chocolates or ice cream, or it might be some probiotic food that is being talked about, Amul just stands for the factor that we understand Indian people, Indian culture, diversity, and the taste of India. So that's exactly where you would see that they have evolved themselves consistently as a brand which tries to tell people why they are existing in the market. Now, if you look into the background of Amul for a while, you would understand the integrated marketing advertisement very clearly. Amul is a cooperative society that was started some years ago, and the aim of Amul was to promote the people who are involved in the business of dairy, primarily the milkmen. Now, if you want to advertise dairy products, it is not just one person or it is not just one community we are talking about, but it's about the entire country. Because milk is a product that is universally consumed across the country, across the world. So when you are addressing a product which is going to be your brand in the future years, you need to bring in a very, very concise and an easier method that combines the identity of all people together and address the product as the product of yours. So that's exactly where Amul started getting into the consumer campaigns and the ads and the dialogues that you see across the paper, across the channel, where they very clearly mention the taste of India, because they have understood that everywhere they involve themselves with a particular level of consistency, with a particular level of clarity. So higher the brand loyalty, higher the consumers will consume, and your brand value keeps going up, and there are repeated customers for you every time. The next thing is that shift from traditional to the integrated marketing experience. Many a times whenever we look into any of the ad, it is always something that you feel that is missing in that. The reason is that the ad is not created for you. The ad was created for the general public. So you might feel sometime, where am I in the ad? What is the purpose for me to watch the ad? Then that is the reason I'm moving away from the traditional advertising to something called as a personalized advertising methodology, where I want to involve each and every customer. I want them to feel that this ad is created for you. This ad is specially designed for me. That's exactly I want you to get the feeling. Now let me just take the advertisements of Hyundai and American Express for a while. When Hyundai started advertising, they first understood that India's is the biggest mass market where people will definitely need a small, comfortable car. So they came up with the Santro, which was said to be the most successful brand for them, one of the best-selling cars that challenged Maruti 800. Slowly, when Hyundai started evolving as a brand in the minds of Indian consumers, they started understanding that you need to level up if you want to survive the game. So what they did is that they started coming up with specialized cars, luxury vehicles, high-end vehicles, and today you know that Hyundai is even into the field of electric vehicles also. Now, Hyundai has gone to that level where if you start understanding their advertisement, they've started becoming richer in content and they have become specialized at certain levels. Now, Hyundai does not do so much of advertising as it used to do some years back. The reason is that now Hyundai wants to make itself feel its presence as a niche market altogether. So today what is happening is that Hyundai has created many interactive points. It has created many interactive channels and apps by itself where the consumer can interact with the brand directly and understand and personalize things for itself. Now that's exactly what I would like to talk about even in the case of American Express. Now the American Express ad or the pop-up when it comes up in such an exclusive manner because it wants the people to understand that American Express was not created for the common people, but it was created for the most designated, selected, and the most top-level customers altogether. So whenever you're talking about that content marketing, that's exactly where we are shifting our focus from that of traditional to the integrated approach. Once the content becomes rich, the appearance becomes stronger, and you are able to convince the customer with a good message, automatically your approach starts shifting and the entire advertisement scenario becomes even more personalized. Moving further, the transition is allowing you to give you a dynamic and responsive campaign, a deeper connection to the audience, and the integration of online and offline strategy. Now, this integration factor, as we are talking about in terms of online and offline, is very important. Why? Because you are a part of a digital age, but at the same time, you still believe that traditional methods cannot be written off. So you are right in the middle of a hybrid culture which enables you to understand the upcoming digital technologies with the yesterdays of traditional marketing. So somewhere in the paper, when you see a Samsung S24 or S25 Ultra, again, you also see that in your screens. And again, you see the same ad popping up in some digital showrooms. Now, you know that you are able to connect the dots. But what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to give you a better experience that will make you feel good about this factor that you are able to combine both the online, offline, and get that richer experience in your mind. Followed by which I would also like to give you the examples of outstanding integrated campaigns like the Nike cricket, which started taking Make Every Yard Count. Nike's India campaign was primarily targeted towards the combination of television ads and social. Why? Because Nike understood that cricket is the religion in India. It's not just a sport. The Nike was probably the last brand I would like to say which ever combined itself, or rather forced itself to join the bandwagon of cricketing campaigns. Now, if you look into Nike as a sport company, as a sports and accessories manufacturer, it was more associated with baseball, with basketball, with athletics and other kind of sports rather than coming into cricket. No doubt about it, it was also a great brand when it came to tennis also. But then, when you particularly touch a geography like India, the Indian subcontinent is religiously built with that passion towards cricket. Every street, every nook and corner of India, cricket is the official game. And that's how people look at it, that's how people enjoy the game, and that's how people participate in the game. So when Nike wanted to be a part of this great sporting country which adores and which imbibes the spirit of cricket, automatically Nike had to come up with a campaign which could actually make cricket get introduced to the young sportsmen, make cricket even more interactive, make cricket even more associated with your passion altogether. Now, with all those kind of jingles and the lines that Nike bought in, they were able to bring in a huge amount of brand search, say about 20% it increased, which made the integrated marketing campaign a successful effort. Followed by which the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which is supposed to be the Clean India campaign. I would say that this is supposed to be a biggest super hit success in terms of advertisement. What can be an advertisement? What can be more, rather, I would like to say, making your country clean and getting yourself in the top of the index, top of the list, saying that your country is the cleanest country in the world. Now, everybody would love to be a part of that campaign, and that's what India is intended to do. The Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was basically a practice trying to tell its citizen that you are responsible for keeping your country clean. Now, India being a democratic country, you cannot bring in dictatorship here. You cannot force Indians to follow rules. You cannot force Indians to follow certain practices and methods. But definitely you can make it interactive by which the 140 crore population can get involved in a great exercise called as cleaning your own country. And that's exactly what the commercials, the ads, the prints, everybody try to do. The Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is a practice, is a habit that needs to be imbibed by each and every Indian, because that is going to what reflect your country's image, your dignity, your entire factor as a country abroad. Now, that's why you would also like to say that whenever you're coming up with a campaign like this, it is also going to be a gift to the future generation, because they're also going to look into it. They also feel that by participating in such a campaign, it will help them to grow better. It will help them to understand the social responsibility, and it will make them better citizens in the future. So the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was made available, rather it was literally pushed into the minds of all the millions of Indian citizens by making it available in every cinema theaters, in every newspaper, in every kind of radio, television, ads and channels, so that everybody gets imbibed, everybody gets associated and participates in this wonderful campaigning. So definitely I would say that from an integrated marketing perspective, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was a total success. Followed by which I would also like to talk about the cross-channel advertising altogether. Now, cross-channel comes with a factor that you are able to go ahead and leverage your capacity and synchronize those messages with other teams, with other kind of activities altogether, other channels, and using that unified content calendar, you can help synchronizing messages. Additionally, this leveraging automation tools can also streamline your entire communication where the consumer is interacting. So you would be able to come up with better newsletter, you would be able to come up with better brand promotions in your Facebook and in other contents altogether. Now, we are also going to come into this factor where we're going to talk about consistent brand messaging. Now, that is very important because we are reinforcing the brand's identity. This includes maintaining the same tone, style, values across all marketing channels. So, including the font, including the logo, the image, that remains constant till to the color, so that you are able to build the recognition and trust among the consumers. Now, we are also talking about data-driven insight. Why? Because data analytics is playing a major role today in terms of integrated marketing campaigns such as demographics, behavior patterns, engagement metrics. And as we are talking about it, the analyzing click-through rates, conversion rates, social media engagement, everything is getting more effective. So today, when you're talking about tools like Google Analytics coming into picture, or the CRM software that has been developed, these are making marketing even more insightful and more meaningful. Why? Because all these kind of campaigns are helping you to drive data better. Followed by which the customer-centric approach, that is very much needed today because it places the consumer at the heart of all marketing efforts. This helps us to understand whether the customer needs and preferences through surveys, feedback, social listening, personalizing each and every message so that significantly we can improve the brand, we can improve the effort of making the customer get involved in the action. And that's why every time you make sure that you have the relevant message for the audience, for the people here, so that it will build the overall consumer experience. And then we have a lot of case studies starting from the Oyo Rooms example, and then we have campaigns that have been coming up in the advertisement. Nevertheless, as I've been speaking about different ads and campaigns, all of these things have been very, very effective. Why? Because these have been able to try and tell people about the channels, about the highlights altogether, how it has been happening, and where we are able to bring in that integrated marketing communication patterns. So definitely some of the case studies have been able to tell us relevantly how integrated marketing is very, very useful for us today. Now, by using this data-driven, Oyo also has been able to clearly bring in a comprehensive strategy, showcasing all things have become very, very important for them. Now, the emerging trends, we are talking about personalization and customization, where we are building up the brands together. We are connecting brands. We are telling people how integrated components can be used in marketing, how to connect with the customer, how to deepen the level of understanding in terms of the consumer and the brand approach altogether, increase the awareness, bring in better consumer behavior approach altogether. With that, I come to the end of this particular session. I hope and believe that all the facts and figures that I've been told in this particular session would be of great help to you, both in terms of theory as well as in the practical walk of life. In the upcoming session, we will be talking about the social ethics of advertising. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay learning forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.